Mr. President, these people are misleading you if they're telling you that this can be implemented by November. The only thing that will occur is an undermining of the election integrity, the integrity of our elections right now. Let's stop the charade. Let's stop the distraction. Let's get the government funded. Let's use reconciliation if we need to, but let's not clog it up with another piece of policy airdropped by a member of this Senate or the White House that will undermine this bill. Undermine what we need to get done before the election. What we're going to do, if we continue down this path, is to convince the American people that you can't count on your election results. And that is dangerous. That is irresponsible.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So Senator Thom Tillis from North Carolina, a Republican, just went full RINO on the Senate floor over the Save America Act. And he was saying some stuff that are fundamentally false, like claiming that the Save America Act will undermine the integrity of our elections. And this has made a lot of folks furious, and now we have Republicans coming out torching Thom Tillis for these comments. And the reason why Thom Tillis is acting this way is because when he was running for re-election, he went to President Trump, asked for an endorsement, and President Trump said no. So Thom Tillis, he's on this revenge tour. And here we have another video of Thom Tillis saying that if the Save America Act should come back to the Senate, he'll do everything possible to stop it. Watch this.
If you see voting improprieties in your state, report them. There are tools right now to investigate them. But don't further undermine the confidence of the American people by saying, my goodness, they can't get this implemented, the election must be invalid. That is not America that I signed up, that is not an America that anybody should sign up for. We got to do it right, and we've got to do the work. So, Mr. President, if I see a reconciliation bill come from the House with another failed attempt to confuse this election, I will use every device I have available to slow down the wheels of government until people cop a clue and do the math.
That was Senator Thom Tillis saying that if the House, if they should send over another reconciliation bill with the Save America Act, that he personally will do everything to slow down the government so that the Save America Act doesn't get passed. And Senator Thom Tillis isn't the only one, because now we have another RINO coming out saying that they will not support the Save America Act. But before I show you that, one of the arguments that the RINO Thom Tillis is making is that the Save America Act, even if they pass it, there will not be sufficient time to implement the Save America Act. And I think J.D. Vance had the perfect response to this argument. Watch this.
You mentioned that the administration's top priority right now is passing the Save America Act. Even if it were passed tomorrow, there's not enough time for it to be implemented before voting starts for the November midterm elections. That being said, will the administration support the results of the midterm elections come November, regardless of what they look like?
Well, look, of course we're going to support the results of the midterm elections. We think we're going to win, but ultimately that's up to the American people. But we also think we have to do everything that we can to discourage cheating. Because you will hear Democrats sometimes say, and I love this line, I can't help but laugh at it, cheating isn't that frequent in American elections. Any frequency at all is a problem. So you're right, you know, the elections in some ways, the process is already getting started for 2026, but you don't pass a piece of legislation because you think you're going to immediately benefit from it. You pass a piece of legislation because you think the American people are going to benefit from it over the long haul. We have to do it. Save America is not mainly about 2026, to your question. It's actually about saving America's elections well into the future.
So here's the thing. Even if the Save America Act cannot be implemented before the 2026 midterms, let's entertain the idea for a bit. Does that mean Republicans, they shouldn't push as hard to pass the Save America Act? Because if you think about it, the Republicans, they're in a unique position right now to pass the Save America Act, because we don't know what's going to happen in November. The Republicans, they control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And we don't know if the Democrats are going to take the House or the Senate. And if they do, the chances of passing the Save America Act just drop to zero. So at this point, the Republicans, they must get the Save America Act passed. But let us go back to Thom Tillis, because here we have James Comer. I believe it's James Comer. It's not Emmer. I believe it's James Comer, because I always get those two mixed up, and you guys always rip me in the comments. But here we have James Comer torching Thom Tillis over these comments that he made on the Senate floor. Watch this.
If they're telling you that this can be implemented by November, the only thing that will occur is an undermining of the election integrity, the integrity of our elections right now.
Can you respond to what he said there and help answer, if the voters believe, as he is forecasting, that elections can't be trusted, how can Republicans win the election in November?
Well, first of all, I'm like a majority of North Carolinians. I'm ready for Tillis to go back home. But we have to have election integrity. The polling is overwhelming in both parties. Every American expects our votes to be secure. And why in the world there are some states, who just happen to be Democrat states, that don't want to require a voter ID?
And I'm confused as to why we have a whole Republican, a whole senator on the Senate floor torching the Save America Act and not supporting it. And that's not the only thing that Senator Thom Tillis was having a meltdown over, because here we have this reporter that called out Thom Tillis for taking money from, I guess, some organization, and he actually mentioned her on the Senate floor in his speech.
And so when I have somebody put a microphone up in my face and say, why are you against voter ID?
Wait, did Thom Tillis just reference me on the Senate floor?
Senator, you've received almost $700,000 from the illegal labor lobby. Is that why you voted against the Save America Act? I don't know why you're betraying your constituents.
Who do you work for?
I'm independent.
Okay.
Why are you betraying your constituents?
It can't be done. It can't be a serious effort. And if it is a serious effort, I would suggest that they engage somebody who's actually implemented it before, instead of assuming that they can, because they simply can't. And so when I have somebody put a microphone up in my face and say, why are you against voter ID? I'd say, first, do your homework.
Yeah, I did my homework, Thom. You and 3 other RINOs voted against nationwide secure elections. I get you're still butthurt that I called you out, but America Last will be your legacy. I hope you're proud.
I completely agree with her. Thom Tillis's legacy will be America Last, because I don't know how he can be a Republican, call himself a Republican, and not support voter ID, especially considering everything that the Democrats been doing to win elections. It's just insane to me how someone from North Carolina, at that, cannot support voter ID or the Save America Act. And here we have a Democrat, Mark Warner, I think he's from Virginia, and he went on ABC to try to lie about the Save America Act and the voter ID, and then ABC had to call him out on the program. Watch this.
Now, I understand that you and I think every other Democrat oppose this so-called Save America Act, and there's a lot of reasons that you've put forward. But let me ask you very narrowly on the issue of photo ID, requiring photo ID to register to vote. Is this something that Democrats should get behind?
We have
80-some% of Americans, 71% of Democrats say they favor this?
You know what? In Virginia, we have voter ID and photo ID. I got to show my...
That's actually not the case. I mean, I'm a Virginia voter. You don't need to show a photo ID in Virginia. There are a wide range of things you can show for ID. And if you don't show one of those, you can sign an affidavit saying
sign an affidavit,
but so it's not required.
And those become ballots that, if you want to contest later, can be contested. But you do have a variety of documents. But we have voter ID of one form or another.
But should that be a national standard?
And he proceeded to not answer if voter ID should be a national standard, and that is the Democrats for you. They'll never support voter ID because it benefits them, considering who's voting for the Democrats. But RINO Thom Tillis isn't the only RINO that announced that they will not be voting for the Save America Act, because here we have an opinion piece that was written in the Wall Street Journal by Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, a senator. And she explains why she's voting against the Save America Act. She stated that she believes in its objectives, but it's too draconian. And the question is, what part of the Save America Act is too draconian for Lisa Murkowski? I would like her to explain to me and the rest of the country, or even people in Alaska. And Senator Mike Lee actually responded, "There's nothing draconian about verifying the citizenship and identity of voters. Failing to do so is lawless." And I completely agree with Mike Lee. There's nothing draconian about the Save America Act, because this is a bill, per its name, will help to save this country. And that brings us to the end of this video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I really do appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me over the past couple of months. And I'll see you in the next video.